So.
Hi. So remember that we discussed an incident that happened in Vegas, and my sugar was crashing, and these beautiful ladies, consignment chat ladies, were with me. I was bunking with them. And if you don't mind, could you introduce yourselves, please?
I'm Livy. I was the roommate during the whole episode.
I'm Molly. I was a sweet mate.
I'm Samantha, and I held her hand.
So I have not spoken to them about anything. I am going to be just as surprised as everyone watching this, because I think it'll be extraordinarily interesting to see what non-diabetics see as a diabetic going through a sugar crash, right? So Libby, as Libby is, she's working out. I said, "Oh, I'll be with you. I'll be with you." I didn't do it until this one day that I go with her, and I don't even work out hard. All I do is I get on the bike, I do 20 minutes, I get off, I'm going to do some sit stands for my knee, and all of a sudden, I'm not feeling so great. And I start to see spots in front of my eyes, and I know exactly what that means. So I say goodbye to Libby. Libby, did you notice anything when I said goodbye?
Well, you said, I think my sugar's a little, you said that. And I said, are you okay? Because as, a non-diabetic, I don't know what that means. So I'm trusting you to be like, yeah, you're like, I'm fine. I'm just going to go back to the room. Everything's fine. So that was like, I mean, I trusted that you were going to be okay. And I think I should have gone with you. I think I definitely should have known better. I don't know how, but like, I think maybe communicating that when you're having that issue would have been helpful, because I don't know. I was just basing it off what you said. And honestly, you shouldn't have walked back to the room by yourself.
Okay.
I feel that in retrospect, that absolutely I should have gone with you.
Okay. I
Yeah.
get that. I get that. All right. So, there I am. I'm walking up to the room, and I know at this point that it's not good. Right? When I left you, Lib, I thought it was okay. I just needed some coffee and I would be okay. And by the time I was walking down the hall, like I said, I knew I was crashing, but I couldn't figure out why. So I walked into the room, and Molly and Samantha are getting ready. And what do you see?
So I'll jump in first, because what I saw was you came in. I was sitting in a chair doing something, getting something ready, and you came in. I think you kind of walked in, sat in the chair next to me, and if I remember, you were like, Samantha, I was like, hey, how was your workout? Okay. You were very quiet. You definitely, to me, looked very pale coming out of a workout, and very, I would say, kind of weak, but I wasn't sure what was happening. You're like, Samantha, can you help me for a minute? And Samantha came walking over to us, and you started talking about your sugar crash, and it reminded me, first of all, I was scared because, like Libby, I know nothing about it. I have not lived with somebody that has diabetes, and so you don't know what you don't know, right? But it also reminds me of our discussions about autoimmune diseases and things. When you are the one who has it, you don't necessarily want a voice for help because it's very uncomfortable. And I absolutely saw exactly where you were at that moment, because I've been there. And so I immediately connected with you, feeling that I don't want to inconvenience anybody, but I'm going to need, something's not right. And so I immediately connected with that part, because I thought, okay, there's more than she's saying right now by looking at her. And then thank goodness Samantha, with her working in the medical field background, and I'm very calm in those situations, but I also, again, I don't know what I don't know, so I wasn't quite sure how to help you. Samantha, go ahead.
Yeah, so I didn't feel like I was as calm as I should have been, but mostly because when we were in Vegas, we didn't have a fridge. We didn't have like the normal stuff that you would have with kitchens and things around you. We all just had like protein powder and like beef jerky. And I'm like, so my first thought, somebody's sugar is low, you grab orange juice, you grab apple juice, you grab something that's gonna get in and get their sugar spiked back up a little bit so they can stabilize. And like, it just taught me that I need to keep more snacks around all the time, apparently. Like, that's what.
Yeah, this healthy living really was not good for Vanessa. Like, we were all prepared with all of our healthy stuff. Yeah.
I'm trying to like comfort you and like look at your numbers and watch your pump and all that kind of stuff with you and give you a moment to just take a breath and whatever. But I also know that the next step to that could be, I mean, the lower your blood sugar goes, the more lethargic and like incoherent you could get, which you were fine. You did good, but you do start talking a little bit slower and you start looking a little more, tired and clammy and that kind of thing. Also, you went and worked out, like, so you're already overachieving over me. But so then I'm trying to like comfort you, rub your back, tell you it's okay. But at the same time, I'm reading the ingredients on all the protein bars we have around us. Like, which one actually has sugar? Oh, wait.
I was low carb, so none of my bars had any sugar in them at all whatsoever.
Nothing had sugar. We didn't start hoarding the brownies in there till the next night. So that didn't even, yeah.
So I want to add something to that right there about, again, not knowing what you know, because you talked about, I don't have any honey, and I kick myself because I was like, well, I wonder if Chick-fil-A has any, when in reality, what I should have done is gotten up and said, I'm going down to see if, but it was that I don't know. And so I just was kind of not as helpful as I could have been. And you don't ever want to inconvenience us by saying, yes, Molly, can you please go down and get some?
So when I feel like that, when I know it's that low, that's what I gravitate to. Not that I like it, but I do gravitate to that. But you're absolutely right. I do become incoherent, right? And the brain function is even slower than what I already have. Because in my room, I have a little gray case. And in that gray case, you would have found glucose tablets. You would have found caramel candies. My daughter always gets me that I love so much that are complete sugar, but it wouldn't come out.
Right. Because I even asked you, I'm like, do you have glucose tabs? And you were like, maybe. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So next time that, I hope it doesn't happen, but you never know, and it can always happen at some point. I should have said when we got to those rooms, here is my case.
Yeah.
Here is the glucose tablets. Here is the candy in case something happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
I'm just asking anybody I room with from now on. Where's where show me where it all is.
Yeah, I mean, that is solid advice for anyone that needs any kind of extra medical assistance. If you're traveling with others that aren't your immediate family or spouse, that they don't know, is to give them immediately, if X happens, I need this.
I have my EpiPen. I never tell people where it is.
I know, Libby. I would know to look for your EpiPen, Libby, but I don't know. I'd know where it is, but I know I would find it.
We flew in on Sunday, and we didn't know till the following Saturday that Libby even had her EpiPen with her. Like, we assumed, and we know she has some allergies, but we didn't actually have that conversation until we were out eating that one night.
I mean, I knew, because I know she doesn't go anywhere without it. So I knew, I just know she's got it. Just like I have my heart pills, like
Mm-hmm. But it's a good lesson to everybody, just to be prepared and let the people around you know, if this happens, this is what I got.
Absolutely.
And, maybe that's also a good point, because if you're my age, you're not you're not as open as I am right now. And I wasn't open until what, maybe 6 months ago, 8 months ago. I told no one, right? It was always hidden. No one ever knew. But if you're traveling and you feel like this is a person I can't tell, I would think twice about going with that person.
Mm.
You need to have someone with you. I'm not saying you shouldn't go traveling, but certainly have those things on you if you're by yourself. And
Yeah.
secondly, if that person is close enough, they should know where your items are.
Yeah.
I think this is wonderful. I didn't realize that. And I'm very surprised, I'll be honest with you, because my mom could look at me and say, your sugar is low, because at that time we didn't have a pump. All we
Mhm.
had was you went to the bathroom in a cup, you had a little test tube, like a scientific test tube. You put a couple of drops, you put some water, and you put a little tablet in there, and it made a color. And that's it. And you look in the bottle and you're like, oh, you're negative. That's really low. It's blue,
Mhm.
really low, but you don't know how low. But she would just look at me and say, your sugar's low. We need to get you something. So I'm so very surprised, Molly, that you noticed that.
Yeah.
And for next time, you should know that although you're a nurse, I never get clammy except for the middle of my palms.
Okay. So I
Other
guess that's
people
why I
get
knew, because I was holding your hand.
Exactly. I guess that's why I do that. But yes, that's the only place I get clammy. Any other suggestions? Libby, I
Well,
hope you're not upset with me that I was just like, no, I'm fine. I can handle it.
And like I
No,
said
no,
earlier,
not
I
at
get
all.
that.
It did leave me feeling like I was like a bad, inattentive friend, but I
No,
didn't know what I didn't
No,
know.
at all.
it's not that. I think in reality, and I'm not saying this against you, Vanessa, I'm saying this because I do it too, and I'm sure Samantha does it too. When you have these kind of things, the last thing you want to be is an inconvenience to the people around you. And so you tend to make lighter of the issues than what you're really feeling inside and going through, because it's embarrassing. You just don't want to be that person. But you know what? One thing we need to all do is realize we are. And sometimes it's a life or death situation, and you better speak up and
Yeah.
get the help you need. I mean, I did the same thing, Libby. Like I say, after the fact, I kicked myself that I should have immediately, while Samantha's reading rap, I should have just gotten up and gone downstairs to Chick-fil-A and gotten some orange juice or gotten some honey. I didn't react the right way, right? Because I hadn't mentally done any kind of preparation. I didn't have the knowledge. And so I could kick myself for that too. But we learned, thank goodness, here she is with her beautiful face, and it all turned out well. And she stayed, she was feeling better. She stayed at the hotel and we left to go to the event. She was definitely looking better, feeling better, but wanted to take her time. And I was like, all right, well, she'll rest. Maybe she'll take a nap. Daggum if you didn't show up like a half an hour later. Like, let's go.
You know why? Because I needed to get there by 9. I wanted those tickets so that I could be part of the
Who's in
raffle.
it for the prizes?
I know, right?
So what I want to know is what else you've learned from that whole trip, because there was other parts during the trip too. Like we went up when we went to Utah and went to Zion. We knew that we were going to be, in a national park, not readily available near stuff. I grabbed a bag with all kinds of different treats. We had granola bars. Some of them were sugary, and then we had ones that weren't. And then I grabbed the Libby's jerky and like stuff like that, just so there was stuff so you could prevent that and then make sure you're having protein and balance and all that. And then just in case we needed something afterwards. So what have you learned from that to travel differently next time?
I definitely learned that I need to speak up. So, hey, Lib, I'm not feeling so great. And maybe you should come with me. So stop talking with J-Dog and get off the treadmill and get over here and help your friend.
Right.
Definitely talk to the people I'm with. And certainly I should at all times have something in my purse. Yes, I want to be strong. Yes, I want to be a non-diabetic most of the time, but the reality is that I am, and that I have to be prepared for those things. And
I think part of your strength is the education of you knowing how to handle it. That's part of you being strong, is knowing that these are the things you need to succeed and do what you need to do.
Well, like Molly said, we don't want to be an inconvenience. We don't want to be that, that weirdo that has something wrong with them or what. There's lots of reasons why we're hesitant to share any of our issues. My stomach is paralyzed. I'm constantly nauseous. I throw up every day. Like, that's just my life. To me, that's normal. It's what I do. But I do try to share that with people, especially if we're going to an activity or we're living together in hotel rooms and stuff, because how much more awkward is it if they don't know that I have issues, but I start throwing up? Like, I'm off in the bathroom a lot, or I'm, have to go to the side of the road when we're hiking or something. And
then I am running downstairs to the little store getting pregnancy tests because I'm sure she must be pregnant.
So it's much easier to just have these conversations and a plan up front to say, I get sick all the time. My Zofran's in here. I might need you guys to kick me in the butt and tell me to take it because I'm going to get gross. Like, that's...
Libby said this too, and I'm sure you've already seen this with what you've been doing, Vanessa, is the more we share our stories, the better it is, because you end up helping people that you don't even realize needed that help by the knowledge that you share. So it's getting beyond that little mind game that we play with ourselves, that we're weak and and I still do it. I still do it to myself, but we have to remember that knowing it, talking about it, and still moving forward is actually so much more valuable for others, not only yourself, but for those that you don't even know that will grow from that.
And each episode that you go through, you get stronger. You learn something and you get stronger and you move on. You never give up. You just keep on moving on. Well, thank you go ahead.
Well, it wouldn't be an episode with C-Chats if you didn't have interruptions when you're trying to close it out, right?
Always. The full experience. She needs the full experience.
So the other thing that I thought of with this whole experience is you needed a special cooler bag or some type of refrigeration to go on this trip for your insulin and whatnot, and then the snacks and the glucose tabs and all that stuff. Do you have an Amazon list set up so that you can share your favorite things and show people what you use?
No, I do not.
But she'll have one tomorrow.
There's your homework.
Okay, for the Diabetic Reseller, I will definitely do that. Yes, because you're absolutely right. We both, Molly and I, needed our items refrigerated, and the Nug, as you guys call it, does not have refrigerators. And so I went and got ice in the ice bucket every day. And put it in a baggie, and then I laid our items in a waterproof bag on top of it, and that's how I did it. But you're absolutely right. It'd be nice to have a list of items that we definitely take with us. That's an excellent idea. Thank you, Samantha.
You're welcome.
All right. So thank you very much, C-Chats ladies. I love you. You know I do. And take care of yourself.
We love you more.
Bye.